Dragon Ball.
All right, everybody. We just got out from the Pokemon stuff. If you want to check that out and see us, well, you see me, well, more like listening to me just being a salty fuck on Sword and Shield and the community as a whole while praising the current stuff that is being developed. You can go check that out. Once again, joined by my friend Solar.
I don't have a DBZ sound on my soundboard, so.
All right. Um, But yeah, just the major thing we're doing right now is covering things that happened during this month. And one of this was again a lot of anniversaries. Like, and there was Zelda, there was Metroid. Then Nintendo forgot about them, but Pokemon happened, and now we are with Dragon Ball that turned 35. The anime at the very least turned 35 this year, which is definitely yeah. Oh yeah, this man doesn't really know that much. Just keep that in mind. um,
I partial stuff, but yeah,
like,
I'm partially blind in this topic.
um, but okay, let's just what would you say is your? Again, we're just gonna have a little bit of a retrospective with this. So, like, what would you say is your earliest memory with Dragon Ball? Like, I know you have been one that has been taught through the internet about Dragon Ball rather than being so much a consumer of it.
It it's hard for me to remember what was my first introduction. Like it's either two things. It goes back to when, like say like mid 2000s. Um, and so I saw an episode of the Android Saga on Toonami back then, or it was me picking up a first Budokai Tenkaichi game for my PlayStation 2. I remember like for before the Toonami, I rem- I remember I remembered watching. I think it was on demand. I think watched it. Like I remember when that was a thing.
Mm.
Um, the um, it was I think it was one of when Android 20 and 19 arrived, and I remember because like you know controversy about Bruce Faulconer's music. That theme for when Android 19 and 20 show up in the city is freaking chilling. And it uh, definitely stuck with me as a kid. Even that whole scene too, because poor Yamcha.
Mm.
But and then the next episode that I had watched that really got me hooked, I think, was when Vegeta arrived and transformed Super Saiyan for the first time, and that
Seriously,
scene was
what the fuck
amazing.
is Namek?
The fuck is that?
Like, and all right.
uh,
Again, there's a lot
but
of because of videos like the one that Geekdom made, like Geekdom 101 made. There's a lot to dissect regarding the Bruce Faulconer soundtrack. Once again, like, love it or hate it, it's fine. Again, it's a choice
yeah,
that just has this is a very good showcase of what the U.S. and anime had going around during the mid 2000s or and 90s and
yeah,
2000s, and just how fucking weird you guys at least were with anime as a whole.
yeah. We weren't in the authenticity zone yet. We were more in the let's do our own thing
And
kind of
again, keep in mind
self-pretentious
that
kind of thing.
when people like, again, there's a lot of things or reasons to praise the Latin American dub like for the anime industry. With some of them that I agree, but there's also the point to keep in mind that the only reason why, like, most likely the only reason why that was a thing is because the TV, like television at the time, had the time slots to make content and the people to work on it, but it didn't have so much of the resources to create original content. Meanwhile, Japan had a lot of
Yeah.
content but needed money, but like needed resources to exist. And once again, like the U.S. was so against anime and so not proper with it because they thought it was so beneath them. Like, thank God that's not the case nowadays. But no, like
Yeah.
nowadays, like, but meanwhile, yeah, Latin America, like, while it had a more authentic adaptation of it, of a lot of things like Zodiac Knights, Sakura Card Captor, and Dragon Ball, like compared to like to you guys. At the end of the day, like here, what happened? What like at the end of the day, what really happened was like, yeah, we didn't change the anime. We just judged everybody that watched them. We just and called them satanic and called them.
Yep.
I mean, dude, there was
I-
literally a point. I'm not kidding. There was a point where just again anything that was made in Japan was will get a dub and a time slot in a family area, and I mean anything. I'm not like
Yeah.
there is Latin American dubs of hentai that got broadcasted on just public
What?
television. I'm, no, I'm not kidding.
Oh my god.
Like there, like so again, there are a lot of mishaps with the dubbing industry, but at the very least, once again, there was that factor that at the end of the day, Dragon Ball. There's a reason why, as many people will say, Dragon Ball is a goddamn religion in Latin America. With recently the main singer for Shala He Shala in Latin America, unfortunately passed away due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Due to the like, and everybody
Yeah.
has like, and again, like, he was the major like at least the composer for the dub of Shala He Shala, and oh man, like I keep forgetting a lot of things, but again, this is not gonna be like a very well planned out scripted retrospective. We're just gonna talk about Dragon Ball as a whole, because my
Mhm.
earliest memory, and and you will know why I keep that in mind to this day, was during the Saiyan saga, where when Nappa kills Chatsu and Tenshinhan. Like, and you
Oh.
get, but it was the whole process of, like, oh, Tenshinhan gets his arm cut, chopped in half. Chaozu dies. Tenshinhan dies. Like, so it's kind of a no shit why that particular moment got stuck in my head. But it just sort of
Yeah.
happened.
No, I don't blame you.
Like, it just sort of happened, and before I knew it, I was already watching the Dynamic Saga, and I watched full on live when it really happened in Latin America, Goku turning Super Saiyan for the first time, and it was
Oh, that's awesome.
like, because no, like, here, like, you guys talk about the, like, one of the things that the U.S. has a lot is the whole process of every time Goku beats Raccoon, the show restarted. The show,
Yeah.
like, we
The old
technically
Ocean dub.
we
Yeah.
technically did have that, but it wasn't that specific. Like, we will have
Yeah.
that whole, like, oh, like, every 3 months we will get 5 new episodes, and so,
Hmm.
like, oh, those 5 episodes, and then rerun all the way until those 5 episodes, until the next five, and the next thing, and the next thing. So for a while, like, it wasn't like that much. Like, we got the Raccoon situation like twice, like just twice. Afterwards, it was all the
Hmm.
way up to up to Frieza, like Frieza meeting the Sea Fighters for the first time. uh, like the whole, like,
Hmm.
oh, don't mind me, by all means, give me some ideas. Like
Ideas.
that particular part. Um, and then the one that really hurt was cutting out right when Goku arrived to fight Frieza.
Oh.
Like, that was like, come
Oh.
on, like, should you go? Like, that was the one time where I'm just like, you can't
Yeah.
be fucking serious. But that's
Of all
because,
times.
again, I know technically you guys were on the same boat, but Toonami was not, and it really hasn't been quite that big in Latin America as it is to you guys, because once again, we didn't really care about what anime was showing. Like we recognized that it was all animated work and it was from a different country. Like we kind of immediately distinguish. Okay, this is Japanese animation or animation
Yeah.
outside of the continent. So we will have everything on Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Channel Five, like a public television, like things like that. Like it would like anime will just be a part of the culture. So which again like you like, and it was fully uncut. Once again, like uh, if you're an English speaking person and you think that Zodiac Knights is a very overrated show because of what you saw, there's a good chance that you probably didn't watch the actual thing. You watch a very weird cut that the US made because of how full of itself the country was. Yeah, because thank God that's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
But thank God. um. So once it's like, but when will like I think it's safe to say that like at least in this particular year, we are in the Dragon Ball Renaissance. Like I think it's very safe to say that because like in to be fair, it's been safe to say that ever since Super happened to begin with, because
Yeah.
like when will you really say that the Renaissance did happen?
For me, when I would say that, like my personal opinion on when it happened,
Yeah.
I think like I'd say the beginning of it would be Battle of Gods because
Hmm.
like for the longest time throughout like the entirety of 2000s, Dragon Ball was just entirely like in terms of merchandise, in terms of animations, in terms of games and everything. Any form of entertainment of it was just related to just retreading over the story. Like there were like a bunch of DBZ fighting games that just went over the main story, and there were a few original Dragon Ball games, like some on the Wii, like I think it's like I think I can't remember.
The major one
Um,
was like yeah, like some from the OG Dragon Ball, um,
yeah,
which we'll get into it a little bit. At least I will. um, but
yeah,
the
and there was this kind of a big content drought. It's just like it would always just of a lot of for the longest time, GT was just the ending of Dragon Ball, and that's just how it was for
yeah,
the longest time. And
which I still
and then
say, which I will still say, if somehow Toyotaro and Toriyama and Shueisha as a whole, like if everyone in the Dragon Ball room managed to make the ending of GT the actual ending, I will never complain, because again I like when people say that the best part of GT is the ending. It's not a condescending tone towards GT. That ending is absolutely amazing.
yeah, pieces of it, and I can definitely understand why.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like with the beginning of Battle of Gods, it was because God, I remember it kind of clearly where, like news about it was coming out, and I think it was around the time they had shown the preview when Beerus arrives and he battles Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Like they showed the clip of that, um, and so like, and I remember hearing, like it was this YouTube channel that I was watching, and like it was like a news thing that, that if the movie does well, we might actually, get a series. And that I remember that hyping me a lot because it's you know because back I was kind of heavy into Dragon Ball mainly through the games, but also like through watching episodes of the anime when I could, whenever they were on TV. Um, and I just the idea of me being there for the beginning of a show really just really excited me. So, and this was a time where, with Battle of Gods, that was when, you know, they just, basically decided. you thought I was done with it. Well, here's a big eye opener, and then just revealed like, hey, there's Super Saiyan God. There's multiple universes. There's out of destruction. There's so much stuff now that we never thought would be possible. Because with we know with all the multiple planets and everything in the galaxy, and with all the movies, and you kind of feel like at that point all the avenues possible have been explored.
Like, I mean, there's
But
always been the whole there's been like, because I will say that you're completely right, because here's my reason for it, because there are people that think that the Renaissance, or there is an argument to be made, better said, I'm sorry, about saying that the Renaissance happened with Kai. Like you could technically say that, and I can see why you will believe that, but let's be real, like, the real kicker was Battle of Gods. And I cannot, and I say that with the safety because of the worldwide impact. Since, once again, the only people that really gave a damn about Kai was the US. Like, and
yeah, I think
and with that, and controversies aside, I do need to remind the US that the US is not the world. I know it's hard to think about that sometimes, but the US is not the entire world. That you, it's not. I'm sorry.
yeah.
Like, again, I know it's a little bit of a tough process, but it is a thing. Like, there are other people. There are like,
Yeah.
like, there are other people, and they are just as valid as you are. That some people come in different colors and forms and tones, but they're all as valid as you. I can already see it. March 1st, guys. We got canceled. But all right. Because again, like, first of all, I do want to, like, give it a proper thing, like, to just the question. Alisa, speak. I'm gonna speak. Say it for myself. Dragon Ball is my favorite shonen product. It's probably even my favorite anime. But I am fully aware that there are plenty of others that are better, mainly due to over the obvious aspect of learning from it, like One Piece and Naruto did. Although although Naruto you can say that it got worse than Dragon Ball at the end of the day, but no, there are, like, but again, like, those happened and got better ideas or better points of what they wanted to be because of Dragon Ball, or just overall others like Yu Yu Hakusho, which was around the time of Dragon Ball, but it was better than its own. Um, but I honestly think that by this point, it will be very hypocritical, even as somebody that truly enjoys My Hero, that loves Inuyasha, no matter how much I try to think otherwise, that that enjoys and appreciates projects like the Miyazaki movies and Keep Your Hands Up Eizouken, which is probably the best educational show that I have ever seen, which is because it manages to be entertaining without stopping you from learning about animation. So, but once again,
Yeah.
like, Dragon Ball is just so much a part of my life that it's part of the things that I do, that I have learned and even look forward to with other things. Like, it is also, if you don't think of Pokemon, you probably think of Dragon Ball when you hear the word anime. like
Yeah.
like keeping it like, you can also say, like, oh well, it depends on the time. There are all the people that can bring other shows, like, but no, like Dragon Ball, like, Goku is probably anime's Mickey Mouse, like the real anime's Mickey Mouse. The real,
Yeah.
like, again, a bit of bold statements, but I don't think that, like, but I don't think they're that big of a stretch to bring.
I think it's a good comparison because honestly, it's like when it comes to anime and like in manga in general, shonen is pretty much the center point of all of that, and one of the big three of shonen, or he was. I'm not sure if he still is, but
Well, I
um,
mean, at least it's like when you
but
look at,
he still
at
has that
sites like Manga
presence.
Plus, Dragon Ball is still at the top. Like, there's no real big
Hmm.
tree nowadays, if you really ask me. But
Hmm.
but no, like there is that. I honestly think that fan service can only to go so far, because a lot of people like love to like, and for good reason, like to say that, oh, Dragon Ball has lost that spark and everything, and to an extent I can understand, I can believe that, I can see why you will say that, because there's definitely a huge change in contrast in terms of like tones and executions from Dragon Ball
Hmm.
all the way to Dragon Ball Super. Like, at least if you compare the two manga products. Like, and again, it happens for a lot of different reasons, but I'm pretty sure that if it was just fucking fan service, or just people like keeping like sticking there for the nostalgia, it wouldn't have lost it as much as it has. Like, I don't think the Moro
Yeah.
arc or Dragon Ball Super Broly would have happened if there wasn't a quality worth checking from Super, or from this
Yeah.
current generation of Dragon Ball. The same goes for games like Xenoverse or Fighters, and Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Like, I don't. There's only so much that the nostalgia can take you, even as a consumer. Even like there is a point, like,
Yeah.
because and again, I do bring that example majorly with Boruto. Like, yeah, people are still watching the Boruto stuff and keeping a certain good spot for it, but I that you can that they couldn't be more apart in terms of like how much hype does a new chapter of Boruto has, comparing it to a new chapter of Dragon Ball Super. Even if you can bring me the qualities
Yeah.
between the two, even if you
Hmm.
like once again, like, I can at least give Boruto the fucking balls to kill fucking Kurama right right out of nowhere, right out of no, you know, like just fucking doing that like nothing else.
Yeah.
Like I respect that, but the like it's just a point where there I honestly don't think that I love Dragon Ball Super more than most people will do, or even some will tell me to that I should love it. But I again, I watched that thing at launch and I finished it when it ended, because I saw value in it. I saw quality, and I most importantly I saw effort. Like, there, I don't think that you can call yourself a supporter of anime, like a supporter of the anime community, and just make your life out of shit talking animators and taking screenshots of things that you don't like, uh, on Dragon Ball Super without seeing the quality. Like, it's one of the reasons why I have certain grudges with the community as it is today, because just like
Hmm.
so in a similar way to Pokemon, as we mentioned in that podcast, are like, you cannot love something without really having a fucking essay, like explaining why you love it, explaining what, um,
Yeah.
like, luckily I have the ways to like express myself. Like, no, like, I love Super because it takes a lot of ideas that, let's be real, nobody could have done it, because you want my honest opinion, we had all the fucking time to do it, and the best thing we could think of was Super Saiyan 5 and Dragon Ball AF, and that was the best thing. That was the best we could do. That was, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I I honestly can and it's not so much like, oh, why don't you why don't you try to do it better? Like, no, I understand that the criticism is still worth having, even if you're not capable of executing something better. Like, if you don't like something, you don't like it. But I honestly cannot say that Super is shit or is worthless, when I was super hyped up at seeing Goku going Kaioken for the first, like, do you have any idea, like, Like you specifically, do you have any idea how good did it feel to start seeing in social media like, wow, Dragon Ball Super is super good, and seeing that moment like after spending at least 6 months, like again 39 episodes of trying to really defend yourself, like why am I watching this, like there is something but I cannot quite catch it, like the what why, like what am I seeing here that I can't even really tell. And then you get to that moment of Goku doing the Kaioken on Super when being Super Saiyan Blue. Like that's when when it
Yeah.
clicked to me. Like no, there because there is a good chunk of potential that has been used even in bad moments like Episode 5, when Goku fights Beerus for a full dedicated episode, and you can see all the progress and the ways of recognition that these two have with each other, and to even kind of start hinting things for Ultra Instinct at that time. Like there's just so much things
Yeah.
that were happening during the movie re arcs, like to the point where I can actually recommend watching both Battle of Gods and the Beerus arc in Super. While Resurrection F, I honestly think that you're better out just avoiding it and assuming that Super Saiyan Blue just happened, and assuming that like that just happened. That just, the Golden Frieza and Blue. That yeah, that's a thing that we have. Let's not talk about it. Let's not. um,
Mm-mm.
and then you get to Goku Black being one of the biggest twists in all of the industry. Oh, this anti version
Yeah.
of the protagonist is actually a good character. It's like,
Yeah.
like, and I'm not gonna ignore the bullshit. I'm not gonna ignore the awful ending that is the Goku Black card, like the awful ending that shit has. I'm not gonna ignore
Yep.
the bullshit that it was the episode where Piccolo gets knocked out, but because he couldn't hear the enemy, despite the fact that that's the thing that he has, that he can hear things more than anybody else. Um,
Yeah.
like, or how Jiren was not even supposed to be the main villain at some point. There wasn't the real main antagonist was supposed to be Topo. There was um
Mm.
like there are plenty of things that happen at least in the Super anime, because the manga up until the Moro arc, I honestly don't think it's worth reading the manga. I'm sorry, like there are a lot of good qualities worth checking out, and so again, like check it out if you want to check it out. But I think that the anime overall did a better job in at the arcs that both of them covered, especially the Tournament of Power. The Tournament of Power is the worst thing ever in the manga. Like it has zero respect for its for the material that was actually made. At least if you
Yeah.
ask me, like comparing it to the anime. um.
Yep.
So, and again, with that,
One
again
of
we're
the
just
moments where the anime was better than the manga.
yeah. No, again I do stand by it, because Super Saiyan Blue, while it's definitely more creative in the manga, it also doesn't make any sense in a lot of areas. Like at
Yeah.
least in the anime, you understand like no, there are three major things that Blue can do. It has the main transformation, it has the evolution, which is pretty much the phase four. No, the what was it, like phase 2 or 3 of Super Saiyan, like the Super Vegeta stuff. The
Hmm.
Super Vegeta and Super Trunks, and the fact that it has perfect ki control, so you can apply your body to other extremes like the Kaioken. It's at least better, easier to understand in your mind how does this work, rather than the way the manga kind of does it. Especially because once again, since it's all black, it's at the end of the day black and white with the gray scaling in some areas for hair and all. There's only so much that your imagination can allow you to make. Like which is why like
Hmm.
maybe when the color versions of of the manga get fully released, I'm gonna check it out again and see how well does it actually feel. But again, those are things that I can consider. But once again, I cannot say that I hated everything about the Moro arc, and the Granola arc seems like it's really going somewhere, somewhere that I want to see where it goes. um,
I keep having
mhm.
to do a double take every time I hear about the current arc, the granola,
Yeah,
like
there's just one point.
granola bar.
Like there is a point. Like there is a point of being a pawn. Like again, Kakarot, Vegeta,
Uh-huh.
and then there's just granola. Like that's not a like, it's
You're
not
straight up.
like it's not a pun. You just use a fucking word. It's not a.
You just literally used the actual word.
Okay, like Piccolo. Okay, pickle. Okay, that's fair. Like, uh, again, granola. Again, there's just something about that name.
Granola.
But no, like, the story that is going is really good. So, or at least it's aiming for something
Mhm.
very interesting and worth watching. That's the major thing. If you don't like, whether you like it or you hate it, or that you love making a living out of saying that you hate it, despite the fact that there you are consuming it. Once again, like, I honestly don't think that you're worth that much taking seriously if you're gonna hate on something yet still make a living out of it. I don't know. I, like it says a lot about how things work apparently in the industry, but
Yep.
it like again I'm majorly speaking out of as someone that if you have noticed with a lot of my videos, I don't like I really like talking about things that I enjoy or even things that I really care about. Like because you
Yeah.
can say that well in the Pokemon not Pokemon podcast you didn't seem that happy like yeah no I get it, but I but I do like things about Pokemon. I don't just fucking hate the thing,
Yeah.
or I don't think that there's anything worth talking about. Same goes with a lot of the online shows that I cover in the online Wonder section. The reason why I even have plans for free to pay or free to play is because I do care about the video games that I talk about. Like, again, at least I did enjoy Genshin Impact, therefore I wanted to make a discussion about it. I enjoyed Hero High. Like, so whenever I see people like, oh, the Dragon Ball Super is trash and this is one, you're like, really? You don't like anything? Like, isn't there a video or something that you like? Again, it's everybody can do what they want. That's the major that's the point that YouTube is about. Like broadcast yourself, like so doing whatever you please. But I don't. If I'm talking about Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Sonic, online shows and things like that, is because those are the things that I actually like. If I wanted to talk about
Mhm.
YouTubers or shows or animes that I don't like, that I really don't like, I will make a full retrospective of Angry Joe and talk about fucking I don't know and talk about Minecraft for 2 hours and talk like I don't know like I can talk about things that I don't like because there are things that I don't like, but some people might actually like them, and I'd rather talk about the things that I do enjoy and bring that kind of environment uh, over everything else. Again, it's a me thing, so like I don't watch a lot of things from that I don't enjoy, even if I don't have any thoughts about it. Because again, if I don't like, why put time on it? Again, that's just my personal train of thought with a lot of things. And so with that said, like again, I will. I think since I pretty much created a super tangent, well, what would you say about Dragon Ball Super? Since I think that's the one that you are the most familiarized with.
I mean, you say that, but like, the funny thing is like, for me, like, there's a lot of moments that I know about in Super, and I've watched uh, pretty much most of the Tournament of Power and the Battle of Gods retelling arc and some of Resurrection F. But the thing is, like, there is um any of this franchise that I still have yet to fully sit down and watch. Like, I've not like I've seen moments and um and points in the Goku Black arc, but have not fully watched it. But have moments to kind of get an understanding of what happens throughout the whole thing.
Hmm.
Um, and I mean, even to this day, I still have not full the original Dragon Ball. I'm I'm trying to remember where I was last time I watched it, but point is, haven't finished that. And to this day, I still have not fully watched the whole Majin Buu arc. Uh, the I've only just key moments is all I mainly know. Um,
Yeah, I mean to be fair,
and
like,
so
but to be fair, you did sat through the entirety of our stream of Kakarot, so
yeah, of Kakarot, yeah, which is a very as much a faithful retelling as you're gonna get in the DVD. Um, but even despite that, I'm still a very big fan of this franchise because it's there's beauty in its simplicity. Like that's the thing about Dragon Ball for me is like it's very simple, but at the same time it can kind of be multi-layered if you want to go that far. And that's the beauty in its simplicity for me because like you have a very simple character like Goku, but if you really examine the moments that he has, um, the moments that he has that sort of I guess like define his character, you can kind of see that there's a sort of a somewhat deeper layer to him, and there's plenty of videos discussing about how Vegeta is like one of the like biggest redemption stories in anime.
mhm.
um, and so it's like like, when you look at stuff with from a face value perspective, you can still enjoy it. It's like Vegeta's the cold hard former bad guy badass, and Goku's the main character who is sort of the middle ground. But when you take it that these characters have a lot to them more than just what you see at face value, and that's kind of what I really love about Dragon Ball as a whole.
I've always been
Beyond the cool fighting techniques.
when it comes to those characters in particular, I've always been very like Goku is my favorite character. Like and even if you go like okay, well, what other ones like I will still go like with others like Piccolo and Gohan before I even go with Vegeta.
Mhm.
Even though I am completely aware that Vegeta is probably the one that has the more dimensions being explored, um, like within
Mhm.
his character, like because Goku is just exactly like you mentioned, like he's a character that he that with a very clear mindset of what he wants in life manages to create a certain depth to it, like like he finds excitement uh, out of putting himself in a physical test, like to test himself into like how far can my body go, how far can I go, while still being a person that cares about his surroundings or the people that care about him. Like if if you care about him, he cares about you. Like it really goes into that simplicity within his character, but still manages to make him likable because of that same principle of no, like he gives a shit. Like he might not be
Yeah.
your your typical like your more traditional image of a father figure if you want, or like as well as many other situations regarding his character, but he is not what you will say uh, really a bad person. Like again, like especially nowadays with anime, like like if you're a My Hero fan, you know that Goku's not a bad father. You know that, like you know that there are way worse people. There are
Yeah.
but again, it's just there's just a lot of points where I genuinely like Goku's the kind of character that that at least in the context of Dragon Ball, it's easier for me to look up to the mentality of Goku in terms of like living a simple life, or just like being able to like have a life that he is comfortable with, like with only the things that he wants and nothing more, over somebody just focusing too much on other things, like that only care that like somebody that cares about
Yeah.
himself with like in a more healthy way rather than someone like Vegeta that that no, that even to this day like has a fixation for other people, like for what others think of him and for what the impact that he makes on other people. Meanwhile, Goku, he only
Yeah.
happens
And
to be like he's only seen as a hero because he loves fighting with people that just so happen to be bad guys. That just
yeah.
like
And
hmm
um the main thing for me that just makes me again like one of the main things that makes me character is again like you said, he's very simple to the ground, and you're more thinking of himself, and he does it without being so, he sort of does it in that very healthy way. And I can't remember what it was that makes me remember this. And I'm not sure what it's from. I can't exactly remember. I'm not sure if it's from something in the manga or if it's from. I think it might have been something from the Moro arc. Maybe I'm not too sure. Because I could have sworn that um, uh, Goku is like offered something to like gain like a very high level of power, or like I guess like that seems like it seems like the penultimate level, and he responds with denying it and saying, I don't want to hit the ceiling. I don't want to make it to the top. I want to keep going. I want to always keep improving. I don't want to make it to the top and there's basically nothing else to do.
I
That's
don't
a very
I don't quite know what like. There are moments where he just doesn't want to like being put in a certain position. Like a good example is once again in OG Dragon Ball at the very end, like in the OG anime, where he is being asked if he wants to be Kami, like he wants to be
Mhm.
the Kami-sama of Earth, and he simply refuses because no, that's not the kind of life that I want. I may be the strongest in the world, but that's not what I want.
Yeah.
Um, but like again, that particular point that you mentioned, like I honestly I cannot quite tell. Like, but there are points in the Moro arc at the very least, like when he's training with Mires, and he's like, "Why do you fight?" Because I like it. Like I like fighting with people. Like I that is a thing that
Oh
makes me
yeah,
happy.
I think it might have been in that conversation they had.
Like wait, like so you're not exactly a person of like you don't fight for the sake of others. And like I mean I care about my friends and all, but that's not why I get excited about fighting. Like what do you mean? Like what? Like you don't care if the person is bad or good? Like no, I will fight the person the same way, even if it was a good person. Although it will be very good to fight a good guy, so I don't have to worry about other things. About
Yeah.
um, like the same with I think even in fighters in the story mode they do talk about that, where like no, like
Mhm.
I love fighting. Like it just so happens that the people I fight are evil, or they want to kill
You're
me,
evil.
or they
Yeah.
want to, like if I could fight a good person, I will do it. Like I don't. It really doesn't matter to me. It really
Yeah.
me like so again it's just those kind of points where we're also again in the fight against Jiren where there's that whole thing of like things of I need to save my universe, and if it means killing other people, I'm gonna do it. Like when he's just because fuck friendship, and he just tries to kill everybody, during that fight.
Yeah.
Um, but
Oh,
he's
it's
like,
it's funny that you. Uh,
mm-hmm.
oh, sorry, go.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, it's funny that you bring that up because one common criticism is with Super is that people feel like Goku is like goofier and not as serious as it was in Z. But the thing is,
I mean, in C he's
because
barely
the
there.
thing
In
is,
C,
well, yeah, it's like in Z, it's like it's one say like to say like, oh, it's like a massive character change. Why he just doesn't really seem to take things 100% ever. And it's like the main thing of why that doesn't happen is because you gotta remember all the arcs that happened in Z. They're killing his friends, so obviously he's gonna be serious about that. There's Frieza, who is basically the biggest tyrant in the galaxy, so of course he's gonna. And there's the androids. They're killing, they're killing innocent people and wrecking the place. Of course, he's gonna be serious about that. And there's Cell,
and once again,
who's a
like,
major threat to civilization.
and once again, like in Dragon Ball as a whole, like not just Super, he's all like he is. Again, when I say that he's selfish in a healthy manner, I mean it in the sense like if he gets to fight, uh, like he gets into a certain point where like of conflict, he cares more about the fact that like he doesn't really care about what others think of him. Like he's gonna do what he thinks is right,
Yeah,
and that's about it. Like he's not so much about being the hero or being the strongest of them all. Like he just wants to give his all in every fight that he can, like, because that's
yeah,
what he likes. And like, meanwhile, others like Vegeta, Jiren, or like Majin Buu, Frieza, like like all the people that he has fought are all about like selfish in a matter of in a more toxic manner. Like if Goku can fight people, he's not gonna kill you if you like he's not gonna kill you or try to hurt you. He's just gonna put himself to the test on of stopping from what you're doing, and that's about it. Well, Piccolo was all about
yeah,
world domination when he was the main antagonist. Vegeta was all about like I am better than you. It was all about ego, like an egotistical kind of selfishness. Like no,
yeah,
like I am the one that matters, not you. Like that was it.
yeah,
Um, to the point where it makes like some people talk about why Vegeta should have been the one to turn Super Saiyan against Frieza, and I'm just here like, oh, so you want the destined hero, like that because that's the whole
yeah,
subversion of the Goku and Vegeta dynamic in Namek. Like the whole point is like, oh,
yeah,
I am the Super Saiyan, I am the Prince, I am this, I am meant to like, and I have been the one that's been living through the tyranny of Frieza and all. Like there's a lot of things that make
yeah,
Vegeta become Super Saiyan thematically better. Like yes, however, that's clearly not the point that they have been building up since the entirety of Vegeta and Goku's relationship. That like literally Goku is
yeah,
all about like with enough power and determination and training, even a fucking low class trash like me can surpass the elite. Like that's the main that's so that was
yeah.
a
You
literal
can become,
a point of conflict between the two, where like Vegeta thought that he was the guy of fate, the one that was destined to be to everything, and then this guy comes out and you're like, well, I did every push-up, sit-up, and drank all the juice in the town, and I managed to get where I am. I managed. Like he
yeah,
Goku was as that subversion to the destiny the hero of destiny at least in during
yeah.
that point
And I think that,
of Dragon Ball. Sorry, go on.
yeah, no, and I think that creates a big that moment in on Namek, creates a bigger thematic message um of and it fits even with the original where Goku in the original Dragon Ball, he's just a kid, and he goes into these many situations where he's completely over his head. And when he goes into the tournament, he's fighting fighters who are giving him lots of trouble, but through his hard work and determination, he just barely make. And then we kind of revisit that theme in Z with the Saiyan saga, with, like you said, with him him and Vegeta's dynamic of Vegeta believing himself, he's an elite, and Goku is low class. He'll never achieve greatness like him. All that stuff, and then the subversion of all that, is just like like you said, like it's the whole the hero destiny thing, or like or protagonist destiny with Vegeta being the prince, being this such elite person. Like at first glance you would expect, oh, he's the prince baggage with Frieza, and he has like the highest power level of like the Saiyans that are left, and you would expect him to be the one that turns Super Saiyan, but no, it's Goku, because and it creates that thematic message of it, of if you basically if you do everything through hard work, and don't take that hard work for granted, don't be full of your yet, then you can even be the best, because what made Vegeta different in that situation was Vegeta was still full of himself, was still arrogant of his own but Goku hadn't changed at all. Like he held on to just the fact that that he's just getting stronger where his heart is, and he knows his limits, he knows who he is, and that allowed him to transform to Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
And that's that's a greater message than the whole it's a greater thematic message than a payoff kind of message than it would
Yeah.
the payoff would getting it, but the thematic message is with Goku getting it, and which I think the latter is more important.
It's exactly for that reason that there either even is a debate between Goku Super Saiyan and Gohan Super Saiyan 2. Like because meanwhile Gohan is can be technically more fitting to the whole Child of Destiny thing, at least to the point of the Cell Saga, which once again I have said it multiple times, like the Cell Saga is the one that took more risk out of the C portion of the story, but it's the one that I actually like the least out of the C portion of the story, because the Saiyan and Namek Saga, I always consider them as one, because they are completely properly interconnected. Like one exists because of the other. Like the only reason why the Namek Saga happens is because of the Saiyans, and the Saiyans only happen
and that's why
be that way they are because, well, not so much be the way they are, but like the circumstances in which the Saiyan Saga happens is because of the situations that they're dealing prior to the Namek Saga.
And that's why so many people group the Android Saga and Cell Saga into each other as well.
Meanwhile, I mean, by that point, I can also say that whenever I say sagas, I go like full on periods, because the Dynamic Saga can go like I can even go full in and say the Ginyu arc, the Frieza arc, and things like that. But meanwhile, in the Android Saga, I go say like the Android arc and then the Cell arc, because once Cell arrives, the tone of the story does go in a completely different direction, and it's kind of that's kind of the reason why I go into that part, because as much as Cell is one of the most interesting villains out of that point, because he's the one that you see develop, like one of the few villains that you can see having to work it out in order to become as strong as they can be as an antagonist, unlike Frieza or Vegeta that were just strong guys by default. So like, but at the end of the day, like Cell just comes out of nowhere. Like Cell comes out of nowhere.
There is some
the inconsistencies between the overall androids, and I know why that's the case. That the whole Toriyama having problems with its editor, like just ditching every idea that he has. But at the end of the day, like you're telling me that the best story is the one where they don't even know what the main villain is, up until the half point. Like again,
Yeah.
that's my major thing. Like you can say whatever about the Boo arc also being inconsistent as hell on what it tries to, on how it tries to actually, like, or where it's trying to go at the end. Like, is it a Gohan story? Is it a
Mhm.
Goku story? Is it a Goten and Trunks story? Is it a Vegeta one? Like, yeah, I get the inconsistencies of the Boo arc, but at least you know what the main goal is, to stop this one character, to stop.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's true.
like, but I'm
And
going
for
with the
me,
whole aspect of Gohan because he is the showcase of that. Like somebody that has a potential and has showing this worth and the things, and now you get that massive payoff that is, for a reason, one of the best moments. I still think that Super Saiyan and Ultra Instinct are better moments than Gohan
mhm.
turning Super Saiyan 2 in a retroactive matter. Like, since Gohan Super
Yeah,
Saiyan 2 only matters with him.
yeah,
But I know for you that's actually your favorite moment. I know at least one of
yeah,
yours.
yeah. It's one of mine. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like my like favorite, like, because all the characters usually have their own sort of spotlight transformation sequences. I guess. I wouldn't. I mean, I don't think I would say Gohan's like my number one favorite, but it's the main thing that I liked about the arc, I guess, is that it was more of a, like, I guess, kind of like mystery thing. At least it was trying to be.
Hmm.
And it was kind of going in different directions. Meanwhile, with like the Frieza and Saiyan arc, for Saiyans, it's for the Saiyan arc, it's train till they get here, and then they're here, and then fight, and then over.
Given the
And
fact that Toriyama was
um,
more into sci-fi during the C portion, I can at least say this: like the Saiyan and Namek Force sagas were him having a huge point on Star Wars, and then the Cell arc was just like, I saw this movie Alien. I'm just gonna go fucking wild with this. I'm just gonna go.
yeah, and like I saw this interest about, like, another reason, like, why, like, one of the reasons why, like, the Cell arc could use a lot of work is and I agree with it. Like, I feel like this would have helped the arc, but like there was this video it's saying of how basically upon Piccolo encountering Cell for the first time, what would have been a much better thing for the arc is if Cell didn't reveal his plan below. If he was just a mysterious character that nothing about at first glance. And I think that would think more fitting for the whole mystery narrative that they were going
It
for,
would have
like, before Cell showed up.
it would have helped with the theme that at least Imperfect Cell has. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Because like once you reveal, like, because the major point is, like, the reason why he is such a great introduction, like he creates one of the best introductions of villains in Dragon Ball, is the fact, like, what the fuck is this? What is he doing? What the fuck? Like, you're just like,
want to see
what?
me drink this guy?
Like he's just like, what is this thing and what is he doing and why? Like there's so much mystery
Yeah,
within between, like, from his design to his actions to his techniques, like, to everything about him. Like
yeah.
like
And then
like,
that mystery is just given away within the same.
but I like, which again, I'm pretty sure that was majorly due to the fact that, well, this motherfucker is complaining about my design, so I might as well tell him that if something happens, this guy can transform. So so again, at least that's one assumption that I can give. So again, there's just a lot of things to unpack on there. And then there's the
Yeah,
Buark, which I don't know if it's because the fact that it feels like it closes down things that I really wanted it to close down, like Vegeta's thing with Goku, Goku
yeah,
overall, like Goku's overall attitude towards certain things in life, like, since the fact that, no, like, I'm fucking dead, I'm done. Like it really doesn't matter if I'm stronger or not. I am dead. Like the next
Yeah.
generation stuff or Gohan, as well as Vegeta's sacrifice, which was definitely like as much as I don't have the same care for Vegeta as other people do. When he dies, I'm just like, no, this was actually important. Like I can see why this is a very big deal. Like even as a kid, I was like, no, this is
Yeah.
sad. Like, but but again, I saw that. Like I said, the dub had the whole thing of showing those episodes through marathons. Like, oh, this marathon will have X episodes. So in the same day, I saw Vegeta sacrifice and Boo reviving. So it really meant nothing. That to this day, I'm just
Oh.
like to this day, I never care that much. I never care for that moment as much as other people do, because it really doesn't matter. Like it,
Yeah,
like
and that's a
it amounts to anything. You know?
Chaozu.
Pretty much. But again, like the Boo arc, it's probably because it has some of the biggest payoffs in the entire like from in the whole in the entirety of C. Like you have the whole thing of Goku, like Vegeta becoming more of a family person, or just accepting where his life is now, after pretty much going in a middle age like crisis. When that moment when he goes Majin, you have
Yeah.
Goku accepting his life no matter what happened, like either if he's dead or alive, and just being willing to do his best once again. Gohan literally reaching his fullest potential, despite acknowledging who he is. um,
Hmm.
and most importantly, like my favorite fighting character in the entire Dragon Ball, Vegito. I fucking love that. Like, dude, like, you saw me with in Kakarot. That was like there were two major moments for me during that whole game. Goku going Super Saiyan, especially Super Saiyan 3, because that was my one of my favorite moments as a child. Like watching Dragon Ball Z, like what the like he has another form. He's just like he has something extra to fight Majin Buu. Like and he can probably win,
Yeah.
as well as Vegeta's rivalry and all, like kind of coming to his peak. And then you just saw Vegeta like wrecking the shit out of this guy that's been a fucking issue the entire show, like for the entirety of his life.
Yeah.
And going back to the whole contrast between the Goku selfishness to the one with his antagonist, Jiren is all about nothing but me matter, like nothing matters, like nothing but power matters. The one with strength is the
Yeah.
one that decides things. The one, um, and or even Topo, who's like justice and all, like justice and dabbing and shit. Like he's all about protecting other people and doing what is considered right in our society. When go like and because of that, Goku is the bad guy. Uh, Boo, like Cell, Frieza, and Boo, as well as Beerus to a certain degree, also fall into that same category, into like contrast to Goku, because uh, again that selfishness attitude. Like at the end of the day, like that's the whole one of the major themes between Goku and his antagonist, where like Goku is selfish, but selfish in a manner where like, leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. Like I just want to have a happy life. I just want. Meanwhile, like I said, Vegeta is all about
Yeah.
being the top dog. Freezer is so all about, I am the fucking ruler of everybody, and if you don't like it, you're fucking dead. Cell is all about, I am the perfect creation and I must stay as such. Like nothing is better than me. Boo is all about, I want things. Like he is that childlike nature in a chaotic matter. Like literally, because it's all about like, I
Yeah.
want to be stronger. I want your body. I want your power. I want to eat you. He has that kind of childlike attitude. Beerus is in a similar manner as Freezer, but more
He more represents the ceiling.
yeah, like more like,
That
yeah, like
that
he
they can
represents
reach.
that aspect of like, I am the best and I can do what I want. Try me. like he is selfish in the sense like just you need to make me happy or you're fucking gone. uh,
Yeah.
and
Like
then there was Samas, who was, well, like Hit is selfish in the sense like, oh, I'm a hitman, like that's kind of it. Uh, but Samas was more into
mhm.
the whole like, oh, deities than God. Like it was more of what on that whole archetype of deities being above everything else. And then finally Jiren, who is
Yeah.
like I said, he's all about like being the strongest matters, nothing else, nothing. Like
Yeah.
when just
Be-
Goku manages to find that healthy yet selfish matter. Like again, selfish is a part of us as humans, and it's only bad depending on how you behave with that selfishness. At least if you ask me. At least,
yeah.
mm.
Yep. And it's like I liked the comparisons that you put. It's like it's definitely like evident that each like major antagonist in each arc definitely represents something that relates to Dragon Ball's themes, or like at least their characters. Like with Goku and everything, and it's like how I wouldn't say a foil. A lot of them are to Goku, but like it's like they represent something that Goku conflicts with. Like
That
it's like
they have a contrast to the
um
character. Yeah, they have a
yeah.
and again, I keep going so much with that, like talking too much about OG Dragon Ball, despite the fact that I think objectively that's the one that has the best stories. Like because everything is just perfectly connected. It and makes every moment have a little bit more weight, since the strength is more tangible.
Hmm.
Like the punch that Goku gives to Frieza in Resurrection F, like you're like, oh, I'm just gonna push air and punch you, has a lot less weight than when Goku just runs and gut punches Piccolo in the tournament. Like
Yeah.
there is a lot more weight to everything that happens in that series, like in that portion of the
Yeah.
story. So once again, the major thing that I can say about OG Dragon Ball is that you need to watch it. It's honestly kind of a negative, or is this a lot about the culture when OG Dragon Ball is less recognized than C, despite the fact that OG is the one that started C, and it's just better in a lot of ways. Like even if in terms of
Yeah.
anime, the the product is better. Like OG Dragon Ball is better than C in a lot of different areas, especially if you if you put the the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai again, the one with Piccolo Jr., because that is a bigger showcase of
Hmm.
everything peeking together with its characters than C or even Super, if I am actually honest. Because in
Yeah.
terms of like you mentioned a bit ago, the whole thing of, oh, Goku and Vegeta don't really develop in terms of character in Super. I agree slash disagree in the sense like, at least because people like to really go with Vegeta majorly, like, oh, he keeps the whole aspect of
Oh yeah.
surpassing and like, no, like the guy has a new mindset, but he's still evolving. Like you can evolve without really changing. You can evolve, uh, like
Oh
because
yeah. No, I'm
the major like.
with
Go ahead. Sorry.
with what I was saying earlier with the comparison, it was more of what people tended to say that they're very stagnant in Super and seem one note, but like I disagree with that whole thing because of uh because well, yeah, like definitely develops, like continues to, but Goku sort of, I guess, kind of stays stagnant, but while still being a bit more cheerful than he was in Z. But the main reason for that, that I feel like people miss is because, well, a lot of the situations that happen in Super, a lot of them aren't as terrifying or deadly as the ones in Z. It's like Beerus, while he is just got a destruction. Um, he has a different kind of energy compared to Cell, Frieza, or Boo. Like one that he's someone Goku can converse with. So it allows moments of personality to show. Then with the Universe 6 tournament, it's a tournament. He doesn't really have to be completely serious about that. It's all for fun. Um, and then with the Tournament of Power, again, tournament, even if there's universes at stake,
Yeah, and once again, and in
he's
Goku
still being
Black,
true to himself.
like, and in Goku Black,
Yeah,
you have seen it, like, when he is being told about what happened with, like, in his future, like, he takes moments early. It just so happens that, again, the
yeah,
writers really couldn't think of better ways to make the story go flow. Like, oh, he forgets the fucking sensu beans. He does, like, he doesn't find the, like, he picks the wrong seal in the manga, or he does, like, those are very forced mistakes that I honestly, that are out of character. Like, I'm sorry, that's not even a matter of, like, oh, he's just dumber in Super. Like, no, even in the Goku from Super in Beerus, Golden Freezer, and Universe 6 arcs, that same Goku will not do the things that happen in Goku Black. Like, that's something that I will say. Like, no, that's you can complain about all
yeah,
you want about, oh, that's a Goku bad doing. Like, I disagree in the mirror aspect. Like, no, even the Goku in Super will not do the shit that the Goku Black arc does in Super. Like, that Goku
yeah,
does. Like, because, like, even in the Tournament
yeah,
of Power, both like, and especially in the anime, which is the one that actually kind of goes somewhere with it, like, he does, like, okay, I have to fucking fix something that apparently is my fault, even though it wasn't at the end. And like, he was about
yeah,
fixing his mistakes rather than, oh, I'm gonna do the right thing. Like, no, I had to fucking save my friends for getting murdered or from getting erased by some stupid antics.
yeah,
So, like, there is an interest, and in the Moro arc, like, so the major thing that I will say that with Goku is that the point of, like, the major thing is as a reason why he isn't as prevalent, like, he has a different tone in Super as he does in C, is the fact that, as you said, like, the stakes have differently changed in terms of context of what is going on, or, like, what it's supposed to be stopped and defended. But,
hmm
like, it's also the fact that he he is always he's majorly out of commission throughout Dragon Ball Z up until the Buu arc. Like,
yeah,
in the Cell Saga, he gets the whole heart attack. In Namek Saga, he gets out of commission several times. Like, he's training
yeah,
until he gets to Namek, and then he gets knocked out to be healed and to be healed for the fight with Frieza. In the Saiyan Saga, he's fucking dead. He's like things
yeah,
generally happen to him to put him out of commission. Um,
yeah,
so once again, you can say that, well, that I prefer this kind of story. Like, yeah, no, that's fair, but a character that's barely there is not the same as a character that is more prevalent, like, more prominent there. Like,
yeah,
you can like it or dislike it all you want, but again, the C portion barely has Goku there, or it doesn't really have him that much.
yeah,
Like, compared to the other areas in the, like, compared to Super, where he is the main character. Like, he is now the real main character, the one that has the major focus, compared to, like, Gohan or
hmm
Vegeta and C. Like,
yeah,
but once again, in OG, I think that in OG Dragon Ball, watch it. It is definitely worth checking it out, both as how far things have come, and also just the kind of spirit that was actually prevalent in the original series. Like, at least in
yeah,
the original spirit of the writing of the show, like, when it was actually about the hero's journey. um,
hmm
so, like, but, and even then, you mentioned the video games, like, and I honestly think that Dragon Ball has maybe not as big of a cultural impact in video games as it does in, obviously, anime form, but an impact nonetheless. Like, there are a lot of games that are definitely worth checking out, even, like, not just as Dragon Ball games, but just games on its own. like, like, some people say,
fighters. Like, I mean, the internet went crazy over fighters,
I mean,
and still does.
we can start with that one, even though people say that it's baby's first fighting game in the sense that you have auto combos and all. I still cannot say for the life of me that by this point somebody should like if somebody asks me like, hey, what do you think of Fighter? Like, oh, it's really good. Well, I'm thinking of buying it. Can I buy like should I get it? Like, no, no. If you're not familiar with fighting games in the slightest, and you want to get a peek of that, just wait until the next fighting game comes out, so you can get into the crib with everybody else. Because
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Fighters is a very good fighting game, but it's a fighting game nonetheless. Like the people that are there are the
Mhm.
ones that already got into it. Therefore, if you try to jump into the game, unless you really want to spend your money just on the story mode, that's fine. Again, like, that's a good thing. That's completely fair. Or you have friends to play with, completely fine. But if you're thinking like, oh, I'm gonna play this by myself and get to into the online, you're like, no, it's not gonna be worth it. Like there's already an environment there, and it's not a very welcoming one. You're better off getting Infinite World, the Budokai remasters, or Kakarot. It's easier for me to recommend uh, those games to a regular to an average player than it is for me to recommend Fighters because Fighters is already a very well established fighting game with a very well established community that is not the most welcoming one. Like it's just as
Yeah.
welcoming as any fighting game you want, but that still doesn't mean much. I love Kino Fighters 2002 to this very day. I will if and I can tell you right now, if somebody tell me like, hey, I want to play, I'm just starting to play, can you play with me? I will fucking wreck that kid's world. I will not have mercy, and I can say the same. And I know that those playing fighters will say the same. Like they're not gonna hold a fucking hand. Like you're like, hey kid, it's killer.
Mhm.
Like lesson one, don't trust anybody. Don't trust. uh, like, and the only game that I honestly cannot recommend nowadays is fucking Xenoverse. Because even if the game became free
Yeah.
to play, like even like actual free to play, like no, the whole game is there free, like the whole game as it came out free. Okay, that's still $60 worth of DLC. That's still as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. Like plus the microtransactions also being very forced into it. Like it's not as forced as Dragon Ball Legends or even Red Dead Online if you or Genshin Impact, but it really makes you wonder. Like once you hit a certain ceiling of levels, they're really pushing you to buy those TP medals. um, so
Yeah.
I cannot. It's the only game that I cannot recommend, given just how saturated it got over DLC. It's better than loot boxes and all. So like you can. It's easy if you tell me like oh Overwatch or Xenoverse because at least you know what you're buying. At least, but
Yeah.
no like Xenoverse by this point like no get anything else. Buy
Yep.
Dragon Ball Fusions, get Dragon Ball Online. Dude, that is also a major point for the Dragon Ball Renaissance. There are fan servers for Dragon Ball Online, one of the games that everybody wanted to play but never managed to get up until
Yeah.
nowadays with the fan translations and just a much better community overall. It's a World of Warcraft
Mhm.
and it's in the 2000s. Oh, that is definitely the case. So it's not a game for everyone, but it's a game that I always wanted to play,
Yep.
and I'm gonna try my best to play it at some point in my life. Like to really
Mhm.
get into it once they properly make better keyboard controls or something. I don't know. I'm not there's a lot of reasons why I couldn't really get into it, but I want to get into it. But what would you
Yeah.
say is your favorite Dragon Ball game?
Ooh, that's tough.
At least give me three. Like not a
Um.
top three, just three games. Like you will say like no,
Yeah.
these are my favorites. These are
One I'd say that is definitely in terms of like content um is Budokai Tenkaichi 2.
mm-hmm.
Um sings praise about the third game. but honestly, I like the second game a little bit more because the amount of content that's in it.
And I
Um,
should also keep in mind, and it doesn't really count that much, although there's a fan game called like it's actually Tenkaichi 4, and it's not just uh,
oh yeah,
it is not just reskins and all. It's a fully dedicated game with its own new set of mechanics that are and trying to like it goes out of its way to recode the entirety of the Tenkaichi formula, as well as apparently this 2D game
yeah,
that actually managed to get on Evo despite being a fighting game. But again, that's a different story. But no, like just as you mentioned the Tenkaichi, it reminded me of the fact that there's a Latin America made a fucking mod of Tenkaichi
yeah. No,
games, and it's actually the
I'm just
Tenkaichi
like, oh
4.
damn, they made.
Well, no, like go on, sorry.
I was like, oh damn, they made Tenkaichi 4, but oh, it's in Latin America.
Like,
Oh no,
are you like Bandai Namco?
I
Like
can't
no,
read this.
like Bandai Namco, like we cannot make the Tenkaichi games because we lost the files. Meanwhile, Latin America, was it really? We made the fucking sequel already. We fucking we already good. Like and again,
But
I'm not shitting on that. It's like new gameplay, like new characters, but those characters have their own animations, their own skills. Like it's not just a reskin thing. It's not just a mod skin. It's a full
mhm.
on Tenkaichi 4. But no, like go on.
Yeah,
Like I do love
that's
Tenkaichi
insane.
2 as well. Yeah.
But with that, I'd say another one that I really like.
If you say Final Bout, I'll name
Honestly,
you.
Kakarot. Okay, I never even played that, but
Good, don't.
I have played Sagas though, which is probably just
I remember
um.
as a fucking kid liking sagas because I like the fucking
Yeah, me
concept.
too. Me too.
I like the concept a lot, but then I played it a few years ago and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? This is why autism is actually a sin. This is why, like I am the showcase that I am a sin even for autistic. Like yeah, I know. Sorry. Like my
But
mother should have swallowed me. I just keep it that way. Just keep it.
uh, but with uh, Kakarot, I think that's definitely favorites. I haven't played it, but watching you play it, just like that game is just full of ambition, and I love it. Um, and third one, I'd probably say, uh, I'd probably say Budokai 3. Um, that's that usually tends to be the uh one of the top ones. But I enjoy my time with it. I because like my one of my first Dragon Ball Z game experiences was Shin Budokai on the PSP.
Mhm.
A lot, but it's basically just Budokai 3, but on PSP with less characters and less
I mean,
abilities.
it had
But
Gohan with a bionic arm, so yeah, it had Go. Like, I still want to play that game because a friend of mine did talk about it, like back when I did my first retrospective in my Hispanic channel. Like, and we're talking like over 6 years ago, but like goddamn. But
mhm.
uh, so like I do want to play those games, like as well as one that I didn't manage to really get into it because the guy that had it made me play with a fucking wheel, like those wheels that you will have on the PS2. Those
What?
like no, I had to play Super Dragon
What?
Ball with a fucking wheel, and I managed to make a Kamehameha. But what the fuck?
What?
Yeah, no, that was a fucking thing. Like,
Gonna do a U-turn into a into a Kamehameha.
no, that's how it goes. That's what you have to do. But like, I love that. Like, again, Super Dragon Ball is pretty much Dragon Ball with the Street Fighter mechanics. Like, while like
Yeah.
instead of more of an arc situation. Uh, Meanwhile, in my case, again, fusions, Kakarot, and like again, I will say fighters. The like well, no, my favorite is Infinite World. I'm sorry, like it's just, like my favorite. Like again, like again, we're talking favorites. You can tell me to the cast confirm that that Fighters is objectively better than all those games, and I believe you, but no, it's easier for me to just pick up those games, like because I
Yeah.
don't need to cancel everything in my gaming life in order to like really get the best out of Dragon Ball Fighters. And I know that it's not
Yeah.
the hardest
Yeah,
fighting
I
game ever,
think
but
Fires is on my top list as well.
and once again, I know that Fighters is not even the hardest, or like I said, for a lot of people, Fighters is the baby's first fighting game. But again, that doesn't change the fact that no,
Mhm.
I just cannot pick up and play Fighters. Like that's not how fighting games work. Like there's a reason why to
Mhm.
the, like I know for a fact that I cannot do the same tricks as I could back then for Kino Fighters 2002, Magic Plus 2.
Mhm.
Yeah, that game also went into that fucking bullshit. But mm, and also again, like there's just a lot of things to cover, and there's like so again, it's just a ramble to talk about the anniversary of once again, like
Yeah.
even though I don't think it's the best anime of all time, like ever nowadays, it if this podcast cannot couldn't tell you already, I am not allowed like just like quoting Kaiser Neko because I'm on the same boat. Like I am not allowed to say that it's not my favorite anime. Like because like I love the characters, I love the story, I see the potential and the creativity in which things are made. I will give Toriyama the fact that he can establish rules in a way that are vague to the point where like yeah, I guess that
Yeah.
it doesn't it doesn't not makes like that double negative. It's not illogical that this can happen because we were never certain that this is not allowed. Like it was just like, oh, this is a thing that they
Yeah.
can do. Like, wait, well, how about this one? I never said they couldn't. I never said that that guy couldn't do it either.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so like again, like there are certain rules that are like just like how in the Moro arc, how the Grand Kai or the Sacred Kai again the fuck translations, the Sacred Kai can take will for a while in Boo's body, and you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, well, that came out of nowhere. But on the on second thought, we were never told that that wasn't allowed. We were never told, like,
Yeah.
like we were never really told that that shit could not happen. And the Moro arc, my only problem with the Moro arc, at least in the manga, and I know it's gonna be the follow up for the anime, is if I can tell what's gonna happen, like maybe not how, but if I can tell what's gonna happen before you do it, like way before you do it, then you lose me in a lot of areas. The
Yeah.
moment they were talking, like because like I was certain that I was still thinking that Vegeta might be the one helping Goku because he's only tapping into Omen for Ultra Instinct. So there are certain
Mhm.
flaws and all with this mechanic. But the moment they start saying like, "Oh, we just could not find a way for him to tap into Ultra Instinct, into full Ultra Instinct," I'm like, they're gonna fucking do that. They're gonna fucking shap Vegeta, and then in order to make Goku have that win by turning into full Master Ultra
Yeah.
Instinct. Like the moment they were saying that, "Oh, he's gonna lose because we just couldn't do this right now," I'm just like, no, this is gonna happen. They're gonna fucking shat Vegeta again. They're gonna.
Yeah. I mean, I will. Had me going when that moment happened where just straight up, when straight up Moro just freaking pulls a Jiro and yanks his arm through his chest.
Yeah, no, again, like there were a lot of things that I enjoyed about the Moro arc, but I lost interest the moment they said that. I lost interest because I predicted the fucking ending. Like I predicted that no,
Yeah.
Vegeta's just gonna be once a support again. Like the only thing that once again again I didn't predict was how. Like I just knew like Goku Master Ultra Instinct is gonna be the winner. That's the one thing that I knew.
Yeah.
Like and then they went like and pretty much pulled a different principle on the Genki Dama for the sake of making Goku full go full Legend of Korra on Moro at the end, uh, as well as
Yep.
the whole Oop still having the powers of Boo. Like again, that those things I did not
Yeah.
expect, and I did appreciate them, but I fucking knew what was gonna happen. The major point of contention, which was, oh, Vegeta might be the one to win this time because it's about the story's about him. Like, no, the moment they were talking about Master Ultra Instinct in that particular fight, I fucking lost it. I just like I'm done. I know what's gonna happen. I know. So that's why with Granola, I'm at least more curious because they were giving build up to both Goku and Vegeta. Like Vegeta
Yeah.
kind of going into developing more into the Hakai energy, while Goku now being told like, I mean, you mastered Ultra Instinct. That doesn't mean you're the best already. Like master Ultra Instinct is a state of being that you had to improve. It's a state of
Yeah.
like the Miras is weaker than me. Miras is weaker than Whis in terms of power, and the Grand Priest is also weaker. But now it's that ceiling. Like Goku is the angel, and Vegeta is probably gonna be the god of destruction. The god, like that's where they're going.
Yeah.
So at least right now, both of them are going through that goal at the same time. um,
Hmm.
so I'm not being tricked into some bullshit again. But overall,
Yeah.
again, if we're talking all this way is because we like this area. Like I I I see the pros and cons about a lot of things, and probably Dragon Ball Super is one of the major pillars why I decided to really go into the whole gray line branding. Like you're like, yeah, no, like there are things to enjoy and things to hate, but overall I can appreciate both sides of the situation and just go on with my life. And just, um
Yeah.
and
And, we didn't even really scratch the surface because with like we didn't really talk about the movies or even like with the Broly movie and the whole with that of
I mean
rebooting
the
Broly.
only reason why we're not going there is because we only have so much time. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
if anything, again, we're recording this at 1 a.m. Solar's time, 3 a.m. my time. So again, thank you so much for your time on this, and keep in
Yeah.
mind
No
that
problem.
we will do more topics as we go along this week, this weekend, if possible, if Solar is available during this weekend, because a lot of shit happened this month in February, and I want to at least keep more active with the whole Gray Line topic. The whole like because I want this podcast to be a thing. Like I'm not like, but especially because Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday I'm gonna be fucking busy with other things. Like
Mhm.
where that I'm not gonna tell you all again. I'm not gonna tell. So again, final thoughts on this on this little ramble retrospective, Solar.
Uh, I'm, I'm really glad that Toriyama like chose to at least somewhat continue things involved as
Yeah.
much as he used to be, but I'm glad that he chose to keep it going because I think that with this new generation, it, it's an even greater time to create a new generation of Dragon Ball fans where it's like you said earlier, it's it's a franchise that that works that that its old fans works off nostalgia, but the nostalgia is so out that it attracts newer people. Like what people wondering, oh, what's this big anime all about? And it creates newer fans through that whole big sense of community. And and that couldn't even be more obvious with those amazing videos showing like like over thousands of people in a crowd watching the final episodes of Super. Like that is unheard
Like,
of in like
while
many like
shouting during the final,
community.
like Fraser, Fraser, Fraser.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just amazing, and it just shows the sense of community that Dragon Ball still has, and I'm glad it's still being kept alive. with brand new stuff instead of for the Z arc over and over. I mean, granted, we still kind of do that, but with Fighters got a new story, Xenoverse got you did get a bit of repeat, but with its own spin, and with Kakarot you did get a repeat as well, but that was more just kind of a faithful retelling.
Sort
Um,
of, but yeah. So
sort of rip Final Flash,
Piccolo did
but
Rip Final Flash. Piccolo didn't blow the moon. Piccolo did, like
but
again, those are fucking nitpicks, but because they like even with but Vegeta didn't do the Final Flash. No, but they went overboard when he tries to avenge Trunks. So so again
yeah,
you give some, you lose some, I guess. And fucking
yeah,
again that Vegito moment where he's just like big bang attack like a
Vegeta
giant
moment was
motherfucker.
complete hype.
Like I
Yeah.
love that moment as well. Again, well, Kakura video talking about Kakura will come at its own time, but
Yeah.
and like,
Um, but
hmm
but yeah, no, it's like I'm just glad it's still going. I really loved the Broly movie. Honestly, it's like everyone. I'm only gonna touch on it lightly, but everyone hated for having like just being a macho man, poor, weird like uh overrated character, and then Toriyama just made him a very likable character. And
yeah,
I'm really excited to see what the future holds for not only this new Broly, but Chilai and the other guy. I'm trying to remember his the orange guy.
Lemo.
I'm trying to remember his name. Lemo, yeah, and that's cool too. Like all three of them are really cool. So it's cool, like just to get a lot of new additions to Dragon Ball and a lot more story potential.
I will definitely say that
Um, so
ever since the Universe 6 arc is when it was shown that like the Universe 6 arc is where that's the reason why I stand that no like that nostalgia can only take you so far when bringing back a property because again like a lot of the people that like shows like Teen Titans Go or like don't like it because of the original. If anything, like that's been a fucking thing. Like the Teen Titans Go community and the original community, like they both hate each other, and they have decided that like as a fact, like to just live,
yeah,
like to agree to disagree with each other, to agree. Um, then
yeah,
or again, or the Simpsons are still alive because there is a certain quality ever because of episodes like like Barthood, where again you see potential here and there with with some areas, uh, and with Dragon Ball Super, like the overall Dragon Ball Super branding, like with Dragon Ball Heroes, like which yeah, no, like that Dragon Ball Super Heroes is what happens when you just try to use nostalgia and nothing more. Or people don't really talk about
when
that
you
too much.
just like
When people don't really talk too much about that one,
and you decide to let the fans take a spin.
like yeah like when you just go nuts about it and you just add whatever, that what happened, like that's the case of nostalgia can only take you so far because not a lot of people really care about that promo anime, and the game has its following and I liked it, but again it's very
Mm,
nonsensical to the point where not a lot of people care as much as they did with
yeah.
Super the series. There is a
Hmm.
quality to it with moments like again Goku, like, the creative moments of Goku with the Kaioken, uh, so like the Samaswar, Goku Black being the character as a whole, the determine of power like with Kefla, like Caulifla, Kale, Ultra Instinct, the Moro arc being very unique in terms of its uses of magic and overall surroundings beyond just the Sea Fighters, and now with Granola kind of
Yeah.
like expanding the whole universe a little bit more, like there are elements to enjoy about Super, and that is the main like even if it's not as consistent or as iconic as uh, as the original series was, like like for a variety of reasons from Toriyama not caring as much because if he did he will be the one drawing and doing things as he goes along instead of just bringing bullet points and that's it,
Yeah.
like which once again that shows what happens with with the Broly movie being the major showcase of that, he made the screenwriting for that one. And what happened? Everybody fucking loved
Yeah.
it. Everybody
Yeah.
loved that. So that's what happens when you actually put. That's what like the Broly movie is the showcase of that. Like when you're trying to rely only on nostalgia without any proper sense of effort, you get the movie reruns in Super. But when you when you put a little bit to it in order to like make sure that this actually works, you get Universe 6, Goku Black, and the Tournament of Power. When you actually give a fuck and you put everything in your power to make this to make this the best way you can, you get the Broly film.
Yeah.
Like because at the end of the day, like the Moro arc had a lot of inconsistencies because Toriyama was not as involved with it as he was with the Broly film or even the previous arcs. Um, and Toyotaro was allowed to do a lot of other things as well as doing whatever with the Tournament of Power because that shit was already over. Um, like
Mhm.
for the anime, like in Granola, like they have established that no, Toriyama is way more involved with this one than he did with the Moro arc. Like he was involved with Moro, but not as much as it's been kind of established in some areas. So
Mhm.
so once again, it's a matter of like when the effort is really been put into it and the dedication and just the idea of hey, maybe we can actually do this like with proper time and effort to it instead of just oh let's do a fucking cash grab. I don't think Super is a cash
Yeah.
grab, but it definitely started as such with the movie reruns being the biggest showcase of that in terms of quality, production, and execution. Like
Yeah.
it is not a secret that that part of the series was rushed since they wanted to capitalize on the success of Resurrection F. Like so once again
Yeah.
those things happen because they didn't really care that much. Not the staff because the fucking staff did its best. I have a fuck ton of respect for the people behind before the animators and overall staff working on Super, more than I do about the executives
Yeah.
and those that just gave orders. So
Yep.
like because once again it's a series that kept getting better because they kept getting more time to really give their all. With the Broly movie being the pinnacle of that, and Toyotaro kind of showing also improvements when he was actually given the time to give a damn to give. So
Yeah.
those like again when like Super is the showcase of that. Like if it was nothing but nostalgia, nobody will be really giving that much of a shit. With Heroes being the showcase of that, I know I keep repeating that factor, but it needs to be said that Super, while it might be very popular, like more popular than other shows because of nostalgia, it's only still alive because of more reasons beyond that. Like it's not just alive because of
Yeah.
nostalgia. There is there is a quality to it, and I think that should be tributed to the people behind the anime. So
Mhm.
with that, thank you so much for listening to us. I just don't have a better way to end this.